had a lot of phobias growing up. Me coming to Bangalore from Bihar, it's like how my children went from Bangalore to the USA.
Do come across as a person who is always jovial, straightforward. If I have to put it in one single word, happy-go-lucky.
Nobody is going to come to you and say, yeah, crack my brain open just because you got a degree.
That's when you met your husband?
I met Arvind over a dead body. Literally. What is busy? What are you doing? That is taking you away from this 15 minutes of happiness. I don't think individually any one of us is saving the world. You should not become an entrepreneur because again somebody else thinks that you should become, or you think that somebody else thinks that you should become.
I have always been looking to have you in Adiverse podcast series, and today the time has come and I'm very excited to talk to you.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure to talk to you always.
Yes. So, you have been in Bangalore since
1988.
88.
Yes.
Please tell me something about your early childhood. Where did you come from to Bangalore, and all of those things people would love to listen to.
I came from the human species only. But anyway, I came from Bihar.
Yeah.
I was born and brought up in Bihar. My parents, although I am a Bengali, but I still consider myself a Bihari. Even today, although that was the least amount of time that I did spend in Bihar.
Yeah.
So it was just that, a little bit, my forefathers actually came from what is Bangladesh today, my father's side. My mom's side was still from what is known as West Bengal today. So so my mom's side came from that. My father's side was from East Bengal, and my father was actually born in Bangladesh.
Okay.
For more than 150 years or so, 5 generations, we have been in Bihar. So that's where I came from. My schooling and everything happened there, and I came here to do medicine.
Okay. It sounds very exciting to know that you are from a place like Bihar. How did you feel nice about it when you came to Bangalore? Because the environment, I'm sure that it's quite different from there to here.
Very recently, actually just a couple of days back, a friend of mine and I were talking, and she knows me from that time. She's a very, very, very old friend of mine from Chennai. And she was actually telling me that me coming to Bangalore from Bihar, it's like how my children went from Bangalore to the USA. In those days, I think, that was the transition, because it was although it's part of the same country, but it was completely and totally different for me. Yes, it was very nice in a way, and it was again stepping away from my comfort zone, from my whatever I knew. And yes, Bihar was not a very safe place in those days, and my parents did not want me to pursue my higher studies there because it was not a very a very happy place at that time, but I loved it. I still do.
You have your childhood memories.
Yes, with my cousins and my my grandparents, my parents, my mom's side, cousins from that side. So yes, I definitely have very happy memories about all that.
That's wonderful. I think that's when you met your future husband.
He's still my husband. Present also. Yes, I did. Like, I'd love to still tell the story that I met Arvind over a dead body, literally on the dissection hall, because his name was Arvind Bhateja and I was Anindita Chatterjee. So we actually, because of our names, we were on the same dissection table. There were 10 people to a table. And so we literally did meet over a dead body. Unfortunately, after 2 days, our professor decided to separate the boys and the girls. So boys were one side, girls was one side, which is very sad. But anyway, I thought he was a very good-looking, handsome guy. I still think so.
Yeah. Well, he is. We will talk about him more now that he is very popular.
My favorite subject.
Yes. So there was a spark at that time when you met him, and then
there was no spark, okay. We were very young and we were very, I was very scared to
Okay.
be in this new environment,
Yeah.
to be, around this terribly horrible formalin smell, which you could smell
Yeah.
while you were walking towards the dissection hall.
Yeah.
And just getting used to that took us about, I think, the first week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was nothing for 1.5 years after
Okay.
we started.
Okay.
And then again, we were put into the same batch because we were into smaller batches when we had osteology classes and we had clinicals, and we started being again in smaller groups with just some 7-8 people in the group. So, we got friendly, and of course, there was lots of spark from my side.
Yeah. That I can definitely agree to it. Now, one of the things people in most of the Bangalore people know that Sita Bhateja hospitals is quite popular. So when did you come to know that okay, you're going to be getting married into one of these well-known prominent families in Bangalore? How did the whole thing happen?
I don't think I really knew anything about which family he came from because I was in the hostel and it really didn't matter to me at that time, and neither does it matter to me today. It doesn't really matter, but yes, they were and they are a very well-known family without a doubt.
Yes.
My family in Patna was also very well known.
Oh,
that also didn't really make any difference to me. Because it was just something which, you are doctors. Both my parents were doctors. My grandfather was a doctor.
Okay. Oh.
So,
So it runs in your family, genes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Thankfully, hasn't been transmitted to the kids.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. Because Arvind's side also, there are 3 generations of who are doctors.
Yeah.
His mother was a doctor. His grandmom was a doctor. And his sister-in-law is a doctor. So, so I mean, a lot of doctors in the family.
Yes. One of the conversations that I remember, let me just tell this very frankly, that, you come across as a person who is always jovial, straightforward. If I have to put it in one single word, happy-go-lucky. That fits you so well. Were you always like this from your childhood?
I think I was, but I don't think I was so, what should I say, chatterbox. I was definitely quieter in my earlier years. Also because I think, of the place I came from, and there were so many restrictions of you can't go here, you can't go there, you can't do this, you can't do that. Cannot go to a friend's house. Only this friend can come to your house, and it's okay for friends to come. Because again, like I said, my family was well known. It was just not a safe place. I was an only child. So with all of that, it was, what should I say, in a way, I was given everything that I wanted, but it was also not a very free space that I could do whatever I wanted, wherever I wanted, and all that. It was not like that. So, maybe I was not such a big chatterbox.
Now let's get straight away into one of your, although you have been practicing medicine for like almost...
Since 1999 is when I finished my MD. So since then I have been practicing. So it's 24 years or 25 years.
Yeah, but there's another side to this whole story. That's when you started this whole Afrikan adventure. That's your... passion.
Yes.
And but then how did that happen? I'm sure that it was not just an overnight thing. I'm sure that there must have been series of experiences that led to forming Afrikan Adventure.
So basically what happened with Afrikan Adventure is that I had a lot of phobias growing up. Maybe again because of the place that I was in, and everybody was just so scared to do anything. So, having said that, I was very scared of heights. So, I tried to do a little hike, a day hike. It's not a little hike, it's a difficult hike. But it is a day hike. It's not a multiple day hike in Bhutan. In 2015. And completely freaked out with the height and everything. So, I think that was the start point. And I had Arvind and my daughter was there with me. And, she was 11 at that time, and she was helping me to get down every step of the way. And I felt very bad for her, and I said, I don't know what I'm doing because of this fear of mine, because I'm just scared. It's not like anything is happening. It's just that I am just so scared inside my own head. So I said, okay, let's go and climb something which is really high. So that's how Kilimanjaro happened, because Kilimanjaro does not require any mountaineering techniques. It's still a trek, although it is as high as it is at 5,895 meters, but it is still a trek. So I said, okay, let's do this. Completely sure I will not be able to do it. But so that's how it started. And then when I went, it was really nice. And the people over there were excellent. They really, really helped me to climb up. And the guides were brilliant. They were so helpful. And, I also felt at that point that they were doing this because they loved their job, because they were people with nature, and I just absolutely fell in love with that whole concept of the place, of the people, with everything. And then I went ahead and I opened, and I said, just giving them some tips as money, it doesn't matter how much money I give, I don't think it's a sustainable thing. And I would like to do something which gives employment to them on a long term. And that's how African Adventure basically came along.
Wonderful. I remember you narrating this story of, your personal experience of even Kilimanjaro, because at least I would like my audience to hear this story out from you, where, you just stood there and then, you were like literally petrified, and it was raining cats and dogs.
Yes.
Could you narrate that story? Because that's very interesting, actually. And then you had to, I think, cross over that...
one ledge and all that.
Yeah.
Actually, so what happened is that, I was so scared of this Kilimanjaro that for 1 month, I think I didn't go to sleep also. And I tried to do a lot of little treks in and around Bangalore, including Chikmagalur, and like Makali Durga, and all of those treks in and around Nandi Hills. Those itself were extremely hard and petrifying for me, and they are really, not to take it away from them, but they are really not anything of any significance, these treks, when you are comparing it to a higher mountain.
Because of not being athletic and
it's everything. It's my weight, it's my not being athletic, it's my never playing a game in school, and mental, because mentally I am just so scared to come down. Right? Even today, I'm very careful in coming down, but I'm not scared. I'm still extremely slow. And, everybody tells me, oh, you can just run up Kilimanjaro. No, I cannot. I will still struggle with every step of the way. But today, I enjoy it. That time, it was only the only emotion I did have was fear. And I think that's the difference that has happened. So anyway, I landed up in this Kilimanjaro airport, and from there in Arusha town, and then we set off in a bus to get to the gate, and we were doing the Machame route at that time. And I think I was frozen with fear, and I said, I'm just going to go there and I'm going to look at this mountain, and I'm going to turn around, come back in the bus and go to the airport and just go back to Bangalore. This is going to be my mountain journey. And I reached there. So you always have to wait at the gate, because these people are going to weigh all the luggages and everything that the porters have to carry, and there is a weight limit.
Yes.
Plus everybody has to register and their passports and all that, so it takes a little bit of a time. Anyway, we were waiting over there, and it started pouring. And all the week before that, or 10 days before we had left, all we were doing is we were checking the weather apps, and we were checking whether it's raining. It was not supposed to be raining at that time, but it was raining. So anyway, so it was pouring, and I said, this is it. Nothing's going to happen.
It added to your existing misery.
Absolutely. And then we said, okay, let's just start going. Then everybody said, okay, we are ready. And I'm thinking, I don't know what I should be doing at this point. I said, okay, you know what? Let's just get to camp and let's see. It's all right. Doesn't matter. So we started climbing, And yeah, so we reached Camp 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, okay. I said, very good. I've reached Camp 1. Let's get to Camp 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, reaching Camp 2, it was a long, it was not a terribly long day, but yeah, it was longish day. And anyway, I think the fear factor, was so high in me at that point too, that I was just slower. I was heavier than what I am today. I did not have any experience of a tall mountain of this magnitude. Anyway, there were too many things which was slowing me down even more than whatever physically I was already slow. And plus every day you are gaining height. So that also anyway naturally makes people slower.
So how many days of
It was a 6-day climb.
6-day climb?
No, it was a 5-day, 4.5-day climb, 1.5-day coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a 6-day total.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, second day, and then we could finally see camp. And there was just this one little rock. It was just like one ledge that I had to just kind of go over to get to the other side, to get to my camp.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I could see camp and I just couldn't take that step. So my guide was with me and he said that, why don't you just step on my foot and then just go ahead, because it's not anything. You can do it. Which I did, and I just completely, totally, I have used this word a lot of times and I have been misinterpreted for it, that I fell in love with this person at that point. So I think fell in love, it doesn't mean in anything in a romantic or a bad way, but fell in love with the gratitude and fell in love with the fact that this is a human being who doesn't know me, who doesn't know what my strength is and why I'm here, and he's just helping me out of just being a human being. And I think that was very touching moment for me and everything. So he was one of my partners in Afrikan Adventure. We have grown up and we have grown apart, which is fine too. But yeah, basically, that was it. So it was very touching, moving, everything.
Defining moment. For a lot of things that would unfold.
Happened later on.
Yes. That's a beautiful story. Yeah, I'm just trying to visualize the whole, narration.
Should just come with me to Kilimanjaro.
Yes, that's the plan. Yeah, very soon. Did you have any favorite spots here in Karnataka, if you have to say?
Trekking. I think Nandi Hills.
Yes.
Nandi Hills for sure, because Nandi Hills you can climb up from the roadside, which is also a climb. And also coming down. Then you can do Nandi Hills from the forest side, which is also very nice. Then of course Nandi Hills, the steps are there, which is also very beautiful and very nice. So and the accessibility and the easy way of just going and doing a 2-hour hike. Nandi Hills is definitely one of the easy spots and different kind of terrains that you want to do. Personally, I do like Skandagiri as well. Ma Kali Durga, I have done it twice, and I find it extremely challenging even now. Ramnagaram is very nice. I'm going for a trek tomorrow also to Ramnagaram, which I'm looking forward to. And Chikmagalur, Mulyangiri was beautiful. Again challenging but beautiful. So it was nice. I've also done Tadiyandamol in Coorg. That was also it was good.
But it's very rare, and we don't find many people at your age to do a lot of these adventurous things. Why do you think so? Is it?
I think people do it when they're younger. People, before we get married, before we have children, specifically as women of my generation for sure. If you are doing, maybe you have studied abroad or you have done something and then you do something while you are in college and stuff. But then that didn't really happen with me, because I was in medical college. It was demanding for sure. I mean, it's demanding for every college, but it was demanding. And for me, again, I had left home. It was very far away. And like I said, although it was the same country, it was also very, very different. More different then than it is today. You know, today with social media, this, that, we are all into each other's business and each other's lives a little too much. And we know everything about everything, whether we have been to that place or not. Right? We can figure out everything about the place, where we want to stay, where we want to eat, where you want to go. You can figure out everything about a place even before you go. But in 1988, it wasn't like that. So you had to experience a place to really understand the place or its culture. And culturally, language-wise, food-wise, people-wise, everything is completely different between Bihar and Bengaluru, between Patna and Bengaluru. So that way, yes, it was completely different and all that. So I didn't really get a chance to do much. And I was never athletic in school. So this thing of being able to do an adventure or going somewhere as an adventure, I don't think was even in the realm of thoughts in those days, right? Again, for this, I think I have to either thank or curse Dr. Arvind Bhateja because he's the one who got into cycling and into triathlon, and then we started doing these half marathons and stuff like that. So I think it started off from there.
Okay.
And that, again, he's, like I said, favorite topic, huge influence in my life. So, yeah, I mean, then I said, okay, then I can also do some other things. And then I think it started off from there, the interest. And then it grew to a little enormous, gigantic proportions, which it was maybe not supposed to do. But
you never thought about it, right?
No,
I mean,
no. This was, I mean, you know, in 2014, 2015, 2016, not 2016, from 2016 I started going a little nuts over all this. But I think, you know, as early as in the last 9 years or so, if somebody had told me that this is what I'm going to be doing in the next 1.5 years, I would have told them, you're crazy, I'll never do that. You know, so that was not even a thought. So this was not something that I've been aspiring for years and I want to do this. It was nothing like that. It was very spur of the moment that it kind of started happening. Yes.
I think that's when you enjoy things.
Yes.
Yeah. Life has surprised you a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. So my next question would be, what makes Tanzania so special?
So like I said, you know, Kilimanjaro was my first climb which was of any significance in terms of heights. And I truly really enjoyed the nature because the whole town where I have been staying for last 2.5 years is full of mountains and hills all around. I can see Mount Meru from the house I live in, which is the 5th highest mountain in Africa and the 2nd highest in Tanzania. And I have climbed that too eventually over the course of my being there. And I think what also really attracts me to Tanzania is the simplicity of life, which is of course changing because as it is everywhere. But I think it's still, people are simple, they're kind. And really, I mean, Tanzanians truly are. I mean, you can ask this from anybody who's been to Tanzania and to other places in the world. They truly are very kind and nice and soft-spoken people. You know, it also reminded me of the Bihar I grew up in. Although part of Bihar was not safe and that all that was there, but Bihar, people from Bihar are misrepresented even today, I think, are actually very nice and simple. I'm talking about the regular guy.
Yes.
You know, they're all very nice and simple and homely and kind and all of that. But of course, Bihar has a different portrayal, I think, has been for a very, very long time. And I think it really did remind me of that. So that was my
connecting moment.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, great. So do you find any similarities in terms of the cultural aspect of it with India?
They are also family oriented, very much so, you know. Again, that is changing because we all want to ape the West.
Yeah.
But yes, there is a huge feeling of community, which I think we are losing it in at least urban India.
Right, right.
For sure. We don't have this sense of community. It's not that everybody goes, specifically when you're not, Arusha is a town. Arusha is growing to be a city. It's definitely not as big as Dar es Salaam
Right.
and all that. But yes, it's growing. And it has all the amenities of a modern town or a city, like good restaurants and stuff like that. But what also is there is that, how should I put this? It's people who are not in Arusha, or even people who are in Arusha, everybody like will go to the church on a Sunday, or we have the Hindu temples over there, and not just for religious purpose, but also for any other purpose, like suppose there's a wedding, or suppose there is a Holi or a Diwali. So all states of people who are living over there, huge Indian population in East Africa anyway. People who are living there, they come together for maybe Diwali, or maybe to do Garba during the Shera and stuff like that. So it also is a social connect, and there's a huge sense of community.
Yes.
And I think because the communities are way smaller in numbers than what we have over here, they're also connected. So if somebody has a problem, or somebody's having any difficulty, then everybody kind of comes together to help out. And it's not just I'm not saying this only based on the Indians who are there, but I'm also talking about the East Africans who are there. They also have a very, very strong sense of community, and they are helpful towards each other. So yes, that way, again, like I'm saying, it reminds me of the older India that I grew up in. I don't know if everybody will resonate that with India today, because India has changed, and definitely urban India has changed.
Yes. And you have frequent conversations and interactions with the Maasai tribe?
Not with the Maasai tribe as such, but very interestingly, Tanzania has over 130 tribes. Maasai is not the biggest one of them. Sukuma is the biggest tribe. There are many tribes. But there are two things that kind of bind them. And it is definitely why I am saying again and again about Tanzania, because Africa has a lot of rife and a lot of wars or civil wars, and lot of things where they are not on the same page with everything. And I think and that's also because of the tribes. Because they are kind of fighting with each other over whether it is territory or whatever their own personal space and problems are. But yes, there are some things which are not right. But in Tanzania, the two things that bind them is that when they did get their independence in 1962-63 time frame, they, one thing was made sure that everybody spoke one language, which was Swahili. Now, language is a great binder. I think we have that problem in India, all of us speak different languages, and we all associate ourselves with these different languages, and we do not make an attempt to speak each other's language. So having said that they have 130 tribes, they also have those many languages. Some of them are lost, yes, but everybody speaks Swahili. And that is brilliant, because like I'm again saying, that language is a great binder. If you are able to communicate with each other, you don't fight all the time, right? And the other thing is they also intermarry between tribes. Not always. I will not say that they don't have their own issues and own problems. Yes, they do. But it's not in your face, and generally it's very, very peaceful.
Nice.
So interactions with Maasai as such, no, but yes, there are people who are Maasai, there are people who are Chaga, there are people who are Sukuma, there are people who are Meru and various other tribes. So but then they are, they are regular people who are looking like you and me, like I'm from Bihar, like you're from Karnataka, like that.
Lovely, lovely. And did you happen to witness the migration?
Yes, thankfully I was. I know I was with this very good friend of mine from Bangalore during COVID times, and we decided that okay, there is a bubble flight between India and Tanzania, so let's go.
Okay.
So we did go, and there were not very many people over there at all because the flights were stopped, and yes, and that time very very amazingly is the only time that I have seen the migration. But yes, I have seen the migration. So migration is not really a right word because again, migration is sold in India or anywhere else in the world as, oh, you should go to Masai Mara and see migration. Now, these are all wrong terms according to me. First of all, migration is just movement of animals.
Right.
From place A to place B.
Yeah,
so what
right.
we are trying to say when we are saying migration is the crossing of the Mara River. So it's the crossing, it's not the migration. And Masai Mara, well, Kenya does very well with marketing, which Tanzania lags behind. So Mara River is the river which divides Tanzania and Kenya.
Okay.
So if you are going to cross on the other side, the Kenyan side, that's Masai Mara. Serengeti is the Tanzanian side.
Yeah, right.
So you could see it from either side.
Right.
And of course, I have a soft spot for Tanzania because it changed my life. So for the better, I'm hoping. But
Yes.
because of that, for sure, I recommend Tanzania. But yes, you can see the crossing from the Kenya side as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderfully put.
So that's crossing. That's not the migration.
Yeah. Right. So which month of the year this happens usually?
Usually it is, that July, August, September. I had actually seen it end of September when it is not really the time. It's usually more July, August. But it's animal, it's nature, it's about food, it's about rain, it's about so many other factors. Nobody can really predict. So, this is like a classic example of being in the right time in the right place.
Yeah.
That you have, because see, the Mara River is in northern part of Serengeti. It's very, very far. Okay, it's a lot of driving. Now you will spend maybe 2 nights, maybe 3 nights at the most if you are such a big wildlife enthusiast or something. It's also very expensive. People think Africa is cheap because it's a poor country. No, Africa is one of the most expensive holidays in the world. Going to Europe is cheaper. Going to Southeast Asia is definitely cheaper.
Yeah.
But not Africa. Africa is a very, very expensive destination. Anywhere in Africa, Tanzania being one of the highest.
Oh.
Because of park fees and stuff like that, it is expensive.
Right.
So it's not that you're going there and you're camping for 1 month.
Right.
You are there for 2 days, 3 nights, whatever.
Yes.
Now, in that much time, if the animals decide to move and cross over,
You're
then
lucky.
yes, you are lucky. That's it. It's not about. So it's really. So when anybody asks me that when can we come and see, I'm like, this is not a zoo and it's not like one show that we'll just put on. So if it happens, it happens. It doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You cannot, what should I say, plan your holiday saying that I am going to go see the migration or the crossing.
Yes.
It cannot be like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So my next question to you would be, for a woman or you have been practicing medicine as well, and to do something very, lack of word, I'll just use unconventional, right? Was there any kind of conflict or was it an easy thing?
No, it was definitely not easy. It's not easy to do something which is so, like you said, unconventional or so radically different. I'm trying to move continents over here.
Yeah.
And
trying to do all things on your own.
Something on my own, and in a country where everybody has asked me, did you have friends here? Do you have relatives here? Do you have a connection with Tanzania? No. This is the first time I ever went to Africa. I have never even been to Africa before 2016. So if you told me that, are you moving to the US? Yeah, I've been to the US since I was a child because my uncle is there and I've gone and spent my summer vacations there. So yeah, UK, US, my parents studied in UK. We used to go there. I have again been there as a kid. UK, USA, yes, those are known territories. This was completely unknown. And I was a little fed up with the rat race that we are into over here. And I did not enjoy my work here as a medical practitioner because I didn't like the way that medicine has become today in all over the world. It's not just India, but also India. That it is, it is very different than how I have seen my grandfather, my father.
You're talking
practice
about
medicine,
the
the corporatization,
commercialization
and the
of
commercialization or the corporatization of the entire medical system. And I did not like that at all. And I said, this is not for me anymore. I've done this enough. I will practice medicine because I love medicine. I continue to practice medicine. And I said, it's okay. I'm not in the number game. I'm not here to say I have to see 20 patients today, 10 patients tomorrow. I have to have this much money. I have to do this. That just kind of totally put me off. And I said, okay, it's, so I see patients in Tanzania pretty regularly nowadays. I have no clinic. I have not attached to any hospital. Whoever calls me wherever, or they come to my home at a convenient time. Maybe I see one patient in a week. Maybe I see 3 patients in a week. Maybe I see 0 patients in a week. But they're very fulfilling because, I'm seeing them from the start to the finish, in the sense that I'm seeing what's happening with whatever I've told them. I am not doing many investigations for most of them because they cannot afford it, and insurance is something which is just coming into the country, which is not something that everybody has. It's a very small population who do have it. And and I get jackfruit, or I get bananas, or I get eggs as this thing. And I get a lot of thank you, and I get a lot of God bless you, and all that. So it's fun, it's nice, because I do enjoy that.
It's okay.
It's great.
So leave aside what the world has to say or something like that, and then just follow your
Well, I think I'm also very lucky that I'm able to do it, right? With, for various reasons, yes, my family supporting me,
that
or
core,
rather, I would say my family not having a choice but to support me. My children, specifically, I must say a huge this thing, because they, I think, have been very instrumental in prodding me forward and saying, just do what you feel like doing. And yes, I'm also, I don't have too much of this God value in me, but doesn't matter. I have to be very blessed to be able to do all this, because you can't do it just because you feel like doing it. There have to be a lot of factors, including money, which I do not like to talk about. But yes, of course, it's important. Without it, you cannot do it. The guy on the street cannot say, I want to go and start a business in America tomorrow, just because I feel like it.
I know.
Right? So yes, it's important. Of course, it's important. It's necessary. But then, so I just will say that I'm extremely lucky and blessed. And people around me, I think, don't have choices, but that's not true. They could have said, my uncle, my aunt, my parents were not, my mom was very sick and kind of not really there when I moved here. And she passed away within 1.5 months of that. So, but my uncle, my aunt, my children, Arvind, of course, 100%. I guess everybody had a choice to put a spoke in my wheel, but nobody did. So thank you for that.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now let's delve into a couple of topics that I need your perception or inputs on. How has this Indian parenting has evolved over a period of time with the Western influence? Like, for example, if I'm a parent now, definitely I would want I will definitely get influenced by what I see on TV, or how my interactions are happening with the outside world. I do not want to do things that what my parents did. So in this whole evolving space, where are we heading? I just wanted to.
I don't know where we are heading, but I know that, I was brought up, my children point this out to me all the time. And yes, I was brought up with very Western parents. In the sense, my parents went to England in 1954, 55 time frame, stayed there for over 16, 17 years. And my uncle went off to the US when in 1975, 76 time frame. So I'm very exposed to the Western world. My parents studied there, lived there. I was not brought up like a regular Indian girl. I think that's one of the biggest problems I faced in India all my adult life, because I was brought up as a person.
Right.
I was not said that, it was not told, or it was not a thing in my family that I have to get married and have children.
Right.
And that's the first thing I did, but
Yes.
that's a different matter. That was not the aim, or I was not geared for that. I was brought up, and considering, please do remember that I'm from Bihar, I'm not from Bangalore.
Yeah.
Bangalore is way more progressive in that way,
Yeah,
in thinking and anything, you
Yeah.
know, or the whole of South India is. Having said that, I'm a very, very hardcore North Indian in heart, but yes,
Yes.
there are certain things which are good and bad about both the places.
Yes.
So I was never brought up like that, you know. So for me, what is the Indianness? I don't know. And in India, we don't have to prove our Indianness, you know, we are Indians, and that's about it. Right? I don't have to teach my children Ramayana, Mahabharata, or Gita. Because they will hear it, or they will, if I am not doing Ganesh Chaturthi, so the neighbor is. They are exposed to it. They
Yeah.
know what is Ganesh Chaturthi.
Yes.
So it's not like I have to really prove it, right?
Yes.
With westernization, what has happened, you know, we are, first thing that has happened is we have all become nuclear families. And parents are struggling to do the job, and there's also, and it is a very interestingly, it is a Western saying that you need a village to raise a child, right?
Exactly.
It's a very Western saying.
Yeah.
But that's what we have always done. I mean, I grew up with a house full of people. My
Yes.
grandparents, my uncle, my aunt, my parents,
Yeah.
helpers.
Yeah, your neighbors.
Their neighbors,
Yeah. We
my
would spend-
cousins, my cousin dadis and chachas.
We
and
would
all
spend
of that.
so much time,
Yeah, so
in our
you know,
neighbors'
this whole-
houses, just not
Exactly.
ourselves, right?
So it is not something. So now what has happened is, we have become very nuclear. We have become very isolated. We have become, then every child today has access to a laptop, a tablet,
Yes.
or whatever, iPad,
Yes.
whatever, TV.
Right.
All of those things which were not there in our times.
Yeah.
So we still went out and we played whatever we could play, even in our backyard. And we still interacted with people. So I don't know how parenting has changed. And today we also think that disciplining a child is not the right thing to do.
Right thing to do. Yeah.
I think there are ways of disciplining. We don't have to yell and scream and slap like
Yes.
we thought that, we used to have this saying also. Again, an English saying, actually, it's not an Indian saying, that you spare the rod and spoil the child, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that is really the right way. And we have followed that again. Actually, we have aped the British in trying to follow that in our generation,
Right.
saying, yes, that is the way to do
Right.
it. I mean, if I may say something in Hindi, ek do thappad laga do to koi baat nahi. It's all right. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay to be, if you say that and if you do that, you're actually in some way promoting violence. And you're saying it's okay to be violent. You don't have to be violent, but you can definitely discipline, right? You can have conversations and you can discipline and you can do certain things with children. And yes, they have to, I mean, there has to be some sense of right and wrong about what is right and wrong. Although, yes, everybody's perspective is different, and what is right for me may not be right for you, generally, broadly. But children have to be taught that. So I think parenting has become more difficult. I'm just very happy that my children are adults and I don't have to worry too much about it. But I truly think parenting has become more difficult than it was, because today's children question you. They are not people who are just going to sit down and say, oh, my mom said this, so I'm going to do it. My dad said it, I'm going to do it. That's not there anymore, which is great in a way. And not so great in a way, because certain things, if you're in the wrong path, or wrong path in the sense, if you are getting into something which is very obviously not right for you, or you don't have your basic checks and balances in place, then maybe you're harming and hurting yourself.
Right.
I think the parenting is only to guide you in a way to not harm or hurt yourself as an adult, and be productive, and to be able to look after yourself to the best of your capability. That's the aim, right? But then we are all floundering, and we don't know really. And because we are also parents for the first time, we don't know what is right, what is wrong. So we ape people who we see. Some things of our parents we don't like, so we don't do it anymore. I think it's that.
It's okay.
It's that. So we have to flounder, and we have to figure out what is the best thing and what our heart is telling us to do. I think listen to your heart a little more than everybody else, or to social media, or to you.
Of course, yes. So there are these, the generational gap that we are talking about, like, the 90s kids, then millennials, then Gen Z, Gen X, or whatever.
Gen Alpha right now, I guess.
Gen Alpha, whatever.
Or whatever.
So, but, I do come across, there are people who are over anxious and stuff like that. And you have had your own children. So when during that phase, how would you kind of deal in such situations?
I think it's very individualistic, and I think there is a lot of anxiety. I think the children today, specifically the ones who are young teenagers or in their early teens or tweens, like from maybe 10 till 15, 16, 17, till they're kind of also growing up. They're going through so many changes. All of us have gone through changes. We go through hormonal changes as men and women, as girls and boys. It's a natural phenomena that happens. So as it is, you are growing. You're not a child anymore, but you are not an adult. You do have opinions. And today our social media has become what should I say? We go to it. I mean, we keep blaming children and say we should restrict their time, and they're watching too much of. But what happened during COVID? I mean, everything was online. Little children, who are maybe 6-7 years old, were sitting in front of a TV or in front of a screen doing class. Because everything went online.
They had to depend on that.
Right. So, I mean, then how are you telling your child, yes, you go and spend 8 hours in a day in front of the screen. At the same time, you're saying, no, you cannot take 1 hour off to scroll. Or to see something. Whatever. In our times, I think, we finally did get the TV in 1981 after the 1982, the Asian Games. After the Asian Games, we started getting TVs. TVs have programs, which we will say, okay, we will watch this program, that program, whatever it is, whether we are watching the news or we are watching CSI or we are watching a Hindi serial, a Kannada serial, whatever. We watch certain things. That's not true anymore, right? With Instagram and stuff, we are like watching God knows what all in a span of 5 minutes. You could be a really serious topic, to a dance, to fashion, to history lesson, to anything.
They are quick dopamines.
And you keep wanting more and more and more and more. So,
I think we should recommend them to take up some activities.
100%.
And I think, from your point of view, tell me, what is it like? I think we did speak about it, right? The trekking is obviously very strenuous and it's not easy. It's not fancy as it seems to be. But then, what is that chemical that you
It's dopamine. So,
again.
any exercise form will give you dopamine. And, I mean, it will give you that little kick,
Yeah.
the happy hormone.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
it'll
Yes.
just give you that little kick. Even if you do 1 hour of exercise in a gym, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
regular,
Yeah.
which you do maybe 3-4 times a week,
Yeah. Yeah.
it will give you that happy kick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And it's very nice to do something which is out in nature.
Yes.
It's excellent.
Yes.
It's very good to dance.
Yeah.
Actually, certain diseases in the elderly and all that have become better, or I won't say become better, but I'll say that they have become better with whatever situation that they are dealing with dancing.
Right.
Right? With whatever dancing, because you have to remember little steps, you have to doing it with for fun, then you're making mistakes and you're laughing because this is not a maths test.
Right.
So I think getting out and doing some activity is very important, and I think that as parents we should actually invest into finding out from our children who are in the age group of maybe 12 to 15, 16, 17, because it's also a very, very stressful time. They're going to do their 10th boards, they're going to do their 12th boards, they're looking at doing college, whichever country, wherever they're going to do, they have to do entrance exams. All those things they have to go through. Plus they are also growing up physically. Hormonal changes are happening. There's so many things which are happening in that age group. I think parents should really take out little time to figure out what activity their children like doing and invest in it very, very consciously. Whether it is painting or it is drawing or it is trekking or it is any form of exercise or football, skating, whatever. Anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But something that they can do which is away from social media. Because, we are constantly just telling children, you can't eat this, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. And I mean, you cannot keep saying can't.
Yeah.
Something
There has to be a positive reinforcement.
That they also look forward to, even if it is once a week, because of maybe their very busy schedules. And I also don't understand what is this busy schedule. I've never understood what is busy. What is I'm so busy? I don't understand what is busy. If you don't have time of an hour and a half in 24 hours for yourself to do something that you like, what is busy? I mean, then what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing those rest of the time?
Right.
That is taking you away from this 15 minutes of happiness.
Right. Stress is a byproduct of, being an entrepreneur or working anywhere and stuff like that. So, especially when it comes to these happy hormones, right? What kind of, suggestion or recommendation do you have for?
I think,
with keeping the modern lifestyle in context.
So see, the context is that we are basically stressed not because of ourselves but because of our surroundings. I think so. Exercise is definitely something which takes you away, and then that exercise cannot become another stress factor.
Yeah.
You cannot say that I have to get up at 5 in the morning and I have to exercise for 1 hour because I don't have time. Again, like I said, if you are not able to take out time for yourself, then I don't know what you're doing. There's something which is not right in this entire thing, because I also very, very strongly believe there are lots of people who have done brilliant and very, very good work in the field of medicine. I'm only talking about medicine, but in every single field. So many inventions, people have given up so many things to reach where we are in the modern world today. But after saying everything, I don't think individually any one of us is saving the world. Maybe collectively, yes.
Yes.
Over generations, yes. But singularly you are doing, I mean, you are as significant as you think you are, but you are really not.
Yeah.
You're pretty insignificant in the whole cosmic realm, right?
Yes.
But I think, so stress is something that is basically you're bringing it up upon yourself.
Yes.
Thinking, okay, you are an entrepreneur, I'm your friend, I just have a regular 9 to 5 job, I'm not really doing anything. What can I do to contribute? And that's stressing me out. It's really my problem. It's not your problem. You are doing, I think you should just do what you really like doing, love what you're doing.
Yes.
And that's very important. As women, it's also a balance. I will not say as women, it should be as a man or a woman. It should be a balance between family and the work you love. And I think that also we are not able to really balance. I will take a little think about for the women right now and say the women do it better than the men. I'm not saying that they do it right all the time or they do it right, but definitely they make a very conscious effort towards this, and there is definitely, again, it's very generally speaking, it may not be true as an individual thing, and I'm not pointing any fingers towards anybody, but yeah, I think women are more tuned to kind of having a work-life balance or something like that, for sure. And we always talk about, she's working and she is, her husband doesn't say anything, or her father doesn't say anything. We don't say the same thing for a man. And I think that is not really right, because everybody is doing the same thing. Right? So there's too much of a difference in that, and I think men should also consciously be aware of how to strike a work-life balance. And if you are aware, you will strike it. It's as simple as that. And if you're liking both your family and your work, you'll just be a success. I don't think you have to try too hard. You will be a success.
Yes, of course.
That's all. So stress is something that we have to consciously take it away from us. I don't think anybody is stressing us. We are only stressing ourselves. Thinking that you are stressing me is also not really true, because I am stressing myself thinking that you have done something which is stressing me. So your action is stressing me. You are not stressing me. So I think we bring on a lot of stress on ourselves. So we have to learn to let go. I don't know how we can do it, but it's a process, and it would be nice to be able to let go. I am not saying accept whatever is happening, however. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying make choices which are smart choices for yourself first, then for your family, then for your work, then...
Exactly.
And if you are happy and you are okay with yourself, with whatever space you are in, whether you are a housekeeping staff or you are a CEO of a hospital, again I'm giving references only from hospital, it doesn't matter. If you are happy with yourself, you will make your work environment and your family happy. If you're constantly trying to run and do 50 things and stressing over it and saying I can't reach on time or I'm late, and you're stressing over it in your own mind, and you're trying to say that I will be the best worker, the worker of the year, and I will be the best mom of the year, well, you're going to not be either best, because you are just going to fail miserably in both. So just, so you have to have some balance, which is difficult with small children, with a growing career that you are just starting off at and all. Yes, it is difficult, but can be done.
Yes. Do you think, that's the way to being happy and not hankering? I think, is that...
Definitely. I think we are constantly hankering, and we are constantly looking at the Joneses. Again, I'm using a very American proverb. We're constantly looking at what our neighbors are doing, what which school did my cousin's kid go to, so my kid should also go to that school, or which house did I buy, which car did I buy, what diamond did I wear, what clothes am I wearing, from where did I buy. Now if everything becomes a competition, your life is going to be miserable. You are going to be miserable.
Exactly.
And if I am having a kid's birthday party, my child is turning 3, how does the child even know what is happening? And this first birthday party, including me, please include me as the, as the prototype of this conversation. My God, the first birthday party for my son, who was my firstborn, and then for my daughter, who was born 6.5 years later, I thought I was throwing a wedding party for them. They have no recollection of it. That none of their friends came. They don't even have friends at this point. So what am I trying to show, and to whom? We all go through it. We all do it. it's of no use. And you know what? Nobody remembers this and except me. Right? So it's not even important for anybody. So what was I trying to show to whom?
Right.
Right? Yeah, realization has come very late, but anyway, maybe for some people it'll come early and not do silly things. I'm not saying you should not throw a birthday party for your child as your first. Do it because you're so happy you have a 1-year-old child.
Right.
The intention has to be
Yes.
right.
Yes.
I think our intentions are to show to somebody, show to yourself, know that
Yes.
you have gone through a marriage, you have got a child, you are, this child has now become 1 year, maybe the child is crawling, walking, saying a few words or not, and you're so happy with this situation. Throw the biggest party on earth, bigger than the Ambani wedding if
Yeah.
you want.
I think
or if
that's
you can
self-love.
afford. Yes, self-love, intention is right.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the love of the child.
Yeah.
You're doing the love for the family. You're doing it because you're proud of where you have reached in your family life and you're celebrating that. Beautiful, wonderful. But I am throwing a birthday party in ABCD place
Yeah.
because my neighbor did so, or my
Yeah,
cousin
yeah,
did so, or my sister did so.
Yeah.
Is sad.
Yes.
Or what will they think if I don't do it? I must do it because I am so and so. So I should do this,
Yes, yes.
because it's expected out of me. Maybe I don't want to do it, but I have to do it because otherwise what will people say?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I'm just giving this 1-year-old child example, but it could be to anything.
Yes. Yes.
Anything.
Yes.
Whether it's my child's marriage or it is my marriage or it is dinner for my clients of African Adventure. It could be anything.
Right.
Right?
I
Yeah.
know.
So
I know.
do it because you want to do
Yeah.
it. Don't do it because everybody else is expecting. I think it'll just become a success. Again, what I'm saying, it'll just become a success
You're
because the intention is right.
Right. So for the women entrepreneurs out there, or even if somebody is thinking of starting something on their own, what would your best advice be?
I think, it's very important to be financially independent. And like I said, that I do not like the topic of money, but it's a very, very important topic and it is necessary in our world. We cannot transact without money. We cannot do things without money. So if you want to do something, I think there are two things that you must keep in mind. First thing is, if you are going to be an entrepreneur, you should do what you love doing. You should not become an entrepreneur because, again, somebody else thinks that you should become, or you think that somebody else thinks that you should become. Right?
Yeah.
So I think you should do it because you want to do it. More than half the battle is won there.
Yeah.
The next thing, in the financial state, what I have gone through, so I can only talk from my own experience, I think for the first 2 to 3 years minimum, you should be able to handle your finances without expecting any income from this entrepreneurship that you have started. So you should be able to back it, and your lifestyle, whatever it is, whatever lifestyle that you have, should not be compromised in this. It's not like I will put everything I have and live out of a car.
Not possible.
That doesn't work because then you start resenting that.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for money to come in.
Yeah.
It will not work. I'm not saying it will not work. It may not. It most probably will not work. Right? Because you have too much investment in it in the financial manner, because you have now compromised your own social, economic, financial, family, whatever life. It's true for man or woman. It doesn't matter who. And I think it's very important that you're able to financially sustain your lifestyle if you want to become an entrepreneur, because it takes that much time for people to know you, no matter how much of social media, whatever you do. 2 to 5 years time, depending on, I'm saying 5 years because this was a statement made to me by my mom when I started after my MD, and I said, I have no patience. What did I do? I've been studying for the last 12 years of my life. I have no patience. I don't know why you guys did not tell me this. You people are doctors, you don't know, you didn't tell me this. Why do I have no patience? What am I going to do? I don't have any money. My friends who are engineers, who are teachers, who are working in banks as CAs and investment managers and stuff like that, they're all earning money. I have no money. And my mother said, anything will take 2 to 5 years. I'm like, 2 to 5 years? What will I do for those 2
Another
to 5
2
years?
to 5 years.
Yeah. But true.
Yeah.
Like neurosurgery, for example, like Arvind, who's super specialized. Yes, it takes time. Nobody is going to come to you and say, yeah, crack my brain open just because you got a degree. Right?
I know.
So it takes time to build confidence, to say yes.
Right.
So you have to be able to sustain yourself. It's very important.
Right. So on closing lines, I would like our viewers, listeners, to learn a little bit about Afrikan Adventure and how they can, be a part of this adventure. And
so, with Afrikan Adventure right now, what I do is I do help organize tours to Tanzania to climb Kilimanjaro. If you don't want to do Kilimanjaro, we also do safaris. And safaris we have 5 national parks. I do have another friend who is also from India, who does the safaris in Kenya. So I can organize safaris in Kenya. If people want to do other parts of Africa, like Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia for Victoria Falls and stuff like that, yes, we do that. Of course, I will always say Tanzania is a country you must visit because it has the most expansive area for wildlife.
Right.
It has the biggest national parks.
Yes.
So yes, I would, because it's that much open.
Yes.
And it's that much, and animals are there throughout the entire, that whole ecosystem. Yes, it's the same animals going all around. So yeah, Afrikan Adventure is something that I would definitely recommend to do, and we have other partners who will take care of you in those places. I also don't recommend things that I have not done myself. And once I've done it myself, I will tell you about it and tell you all about it. And you can contact me on my WhatsApp is the best way to contact me. And then I'm a one-woman show, and then and then we do whatever.
Yes.
That's it.
So I'm going to leave all the contact details in the description of our YouTube channel, the video itself, and then people can definitely, make use of this beautiful experience of Afrikan Adventure through Dr. Anindita Bhateja.
Thank you very much, Aditya. Thank you for having me, and it was wonderful talking to you, as always.
As always.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.